Most people walk through life blind. Eyes open, minds asleep. They see everything and feel nothing. Faces, screens, routines, all blur into one long repetition. They call it life, but it's more like existing on autopilot. We've gotten so good at surviving, we forgot how to notice.
You know that feeling. When you realize days are slipping by, but nothing really changes?
That's not time passing. That's awareness dying. Observation used to be our superpower. It's what made humans different. The ability to look deeper, to see patterns, to connect dots. But somewhere between the scrolling, the notifications, and the race to stay busy, we lost it. But we don't see. We listen, but we don't hear. We react, but we don't understand. Most people call it attention, but it's more than that. True observation isn't passive watching. It's merging. It's letting reality pierce through the filters of your mind until it exposes what's been hiding in plain sight. Every sound, every silence, every shift in energy, it all means something. But we've drowned that signal in noise. We chase distraction like oxygen. We confuse stimulation with growth. We keep moving just to avoid feeling still. But when you slow down, really slow down, you start to notice things. The rhythm of coincidences, the way your thoughts echo back as events, the subtle change in a room's energy before anyone even speaks. These aren't magic tricks. They're the natural language of awareness. You felt it before. That gut feeling that turned out to be right. That strange sense of timing when life lines up too perfectly. That's not luck. That's clarity trying to speak through the static. Observation is a lost art. It's not about control. It's about surrender. Stopping the need to label everything and letting the world reveal itself to you. You stop projecting, start perceiving. You stop trying to fix and start to see. When you do that, the world cracks open. You begin to read people not by their words, but by the silence between them. You notice confidence masking fear. You catch the sadness hiding behind a joke. You feel the energy people leak when they think no one's watching. You stop judging and start understanding. But here's the truth no one tells you. Once you start seeing, you can't unsee. You'll notice manipulation in headlines, emptiness behind ambition, loneliness wrapped in smiles. You'll see how much of human life is built on avoiding truth. We build routines, identities, even relationships just to escape from ourselves. And when you see that clearly, it hurts. Awareness is heavy at first. You'll feel isolated. You'll start noticing how fake most conversations are, how shallow connection feels, how people cling to distraction because silence makes them face their reflection. You'll feel like the only one awake in a room full of dreamers, but that's the cost of sight. You trade comfort for clarity, and in that trade you gain everything, because awareness doesn't separate you from life. It plugs you back in. When you see clearly, you move differently. You speak slower but mean more. You stop chasing and start aligning. The noise fades, and in that quiet, your intuition grows louder. Observation isn't spiritual fluff. It's the foundation of self-mastery. The person who sees clearly moves through chaos without panic. They notice opportunities others miss. They understand people without words. They make decisions that look like luck but are really precision. And it's magnetic. People can feel it. They can't explain why they trust you, why your silence feels powerful, why your presence calms the room. It's because awareness has gravity. When you're truly present, your energy stops leaking. You become solid in a world made of smoke. That's what everyone's really chasing with success, status, money, the feeling of being here fully. But they search outside what was always inside. The irony? This power never left. It just got buried under information, speed, and ego. We were taught to analyze, not to observe, to react, not to sense, to think more, not to see better. But the mind can only recognize what it already knows. Observation begins where knowledge ends. When you stop filling every silence, when you stop trying to prove something, the world starts whispering secrets back. Patterns appear. People reveal themselves. Life stops being random. You start noticing the rhythm behind events, how every obstacle teaches precision, how every heartbreak opens compassion, how every delay hides perfect timing. You realize the universe isn't chaotic. It's coded. And observation is the language it speaks. You can call it intuition. You can call it awareness. Whatever name you give it, it's the same thing. The ability to see reality without distortion. But don't get it twisted. Seeing isn't about escaping. It's about penetrating life. The awakened observer doesn't hide from chaos. They move through it like water. They find beauty inside pain, order inside disorder, meaning even inside decay. Because once you see the mechanism behind illusion, you stop being a victim of it. You stop getting triggered by everything. You start choosing how to respond. You reclaim power. That's the real manifestation people talk about. Not pretending everything's perfect, but seeing clearly enough to move in harmony with what is. When you live like that, you stop fighting reality. You start co-creating with it. You stop forcing outcomes and start aligning with timing. And life rewards that with flow. Most people miss this because they're busy trying to fix themselves. They read, meditate, journal, but never observe who's doing it. They're stuck in the loop of self-improvement without self-awareness. They want to change their life without first seeing how they live it. You can't transform what you refuse to look at. You can't heal what you won't feel. You can't grow while avoiding stillness. So slow down. Watch yourself. Watch how your thoughts react to silence. Watch how your body tightens when truth appears. Watch how fast your mind tries to escape the moment. That's the war zone, right there. Win that and you win everything. Observation isn't passive. It's the most radical act left in a world addicted to distraction. When you start seeing clearly, you stop being controlled. Ads lose power. Opinions lose grip. Trends lose meaning. You become grounded, not because life is easy, but because you're no longer blind. Awareness doesn't give you control. It gives you perspective. And from perspective, you gain choice. And choice is freedom. People ask, how do I start? Start by noticing. Noticing your breathing. Noticing your reactions. Noticing how you reach for your phone the moment silence hits. Every time you notice instead of reacting, you're rewiring the brain. You're breaking the trance. Soon you'll start to see everything differently. The spaces between words, the emotions beneath behavior, the patterns shaping your life. You'll realize most problems aren't problems. They're mirrors. And when you understand the reflection, the problem dissolves. That's what awareness does. It ends unnecessary suffering. It doesn't remove pain, but it strips away confusion. It shows you that meaning isn't found in escaping the dark, but in learning to see within it. So, here's the truth. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more knowledge. You just need to look. Really look. Observation restores what distraction killed. Depth. It brings connection back into everything. When you give someone full attention, they feel seen. When you give life your full attention, it starts revealing its magic again. Awareness is the real flex. Not luxury. Not speed. Not fame. It's the ability to stay awake in a world built to numb you. To stay soft when everything hardens. To stay honest when everything sells illusion. And when you do, life transforms fast. Not because you forced it, but because what's finally seen can finally change. So stop scrolling through your existence. Put your attention where your soul is starving. See the unseen. Feel the obvious. Listen to what silence has been trying to tell you. Because nothing changes faster than what is finally seen.